Hey guys, welcome back to the Cult Classic Cage Show, and today we are talking films, and it is the Halloween season. Uh, this past Friday, I got to hang out with a bunch of homies on stream. I was playing Mario Kart. We were just talking nonsense, and it was a good scream overall. Um, and basically, that was September 31st into October 1st. So, thank y'all so much for starting up the Halloween season with me. I really appreciate y'all. And also, I want to give a huge shout out, excuse me, to my buddy Zach Hall, who pretty much gave me the idea to do this video. So I'm going to link his video in the description below. So after you check this video out, you can check out his video too. But today's video is basically the stack of flicks that I crack out every Halloween season. That's like it's an always go to. And I remember last year, before I even did YouTube, I think was it before I even started really talking about like stuff on YouTube in terms of like what I'm up to or shit like that. I remember posting on my old Twitter account like the whole stack of flicks that I had. And so, basically this is my stack of flicks that I break out for Halloween. There's definitely some new stuff here, some old stuff, some must watches every Halloween season. So with that, first off, we're going to start off with two films that I'm not exactly happy to break out, but with the incoming title, Halloween Ends, I have to break out these two flicks, which is Halloween 2018 and Halloween Kills. So I have to catch them so that I'm properly prepared for Halloween Ends. I'm going to the movie theaters to see it, and then I'm going to watch it on Peacock as well because I will be doing a review on Halloween Ends. So when I do reviews of new films, I watch them twice. That's what I did with Halloween Kills. So that's what I'm going to do for Halloween Ends, just so I can give it, its fair shake. Hopefully, it's good enough to be worth watching twice. We'll see. But the other films, I'm not going to spend too much time on them. Is Halloween. Everyone knows that I have to watch this movie. Uh, Everyone knows that this is like my favorite movie at this point. Like to get into like this huge discussion about it again, it would be fucking with everyone at this point. But Halloween 2, I really love Halloween 2. This is a film that's always been like up and down my Halloween list. Like sometimes I love it, sometimes I hate it. I've grown a really strong fond appreciation of the film. I love the score. I think Halloween 2 score is just John Carpenter doing Halloween 1 but now on steroids. It's fucking amazing, the sounds that he uses to really make this film so much more interesting, because they are an empty ass fucking hospital. There's no denying that shit. And I really love the individual that does play Michael Myers. His name. It's sad that I did forget his fucking name. It's Dick Warlock. Dick Warlock, I think, is amazing Michael Myers. The reason why I love him so much is that when I watch this movie, I feel as though the end of Halloween, Michael Myers truly did die. And basically his body just roams. His body's possessed by evil and it just roams. And Dick Warlock's like physical movements really expresses that so well. Jamie Lee Curtis, when she's in the film, she's really good. And I really like this great atmosphere. You could tell the production level had increased drastically from the original film, and that's, in this case, it's a good thing, because this still feels, it still is, it isn't overly produced like films are nowadays. To me, stuff like Halloween 2018, Halloween Kills, way overly produced, too mainstream feeling. It fucking sucks. This is amazing. And then, Halloween 3. This is such a great film for what it is. If you can accept that it's not a Michael Myers film, it's absolutely amazing. It's a great Halloween themed film. I love it. It's a little goofy for sure, no doubt, but it really, if you're in the mood, you want to be in the season, watch Halloween 3. And then arguably my favorite sequel, Halloween 4. I I love this film. This 4K really doesn't it really doesn't help that fucking god awful mask. That mask is fucking atrocious, but I absolutely love Danielle Harris. I absolutely adore Ellie Cornell. I think that her Rachel is definitely one of my all-time favorite Final Girls for sure. Love this film, and I have to watch it. I have to watch it multiple times every year. It just happens, guys. And the most controversial of my Halloween favorites is Halloween 5. A lot of people hate this fucking film. I love it. It fucking sucks. Don't get me wrong. It's a bad movie. Especially if you're a Halloween fan. Like you can't ignore the house. You can't ignore the fact that Michael Myers' mask has changed. Um you can't ignore the issues with the film. Danielle Harris's character being mute and suddenly being able to speak. Like I totally get it, man. There's so much weird shit. But I think that there's so much here to offer. I think Don Shanks is an amazing Michael Myers. I really love the ideas he brought to the table with Halloween 5. I think that he's a great Michael Myers. And so the strange change of the mask does happen while they're trying to say it's still the same mask from 4. I'm glad that they did change the mask because Halloween 4's mask has no shape. It's just this disgusting attempt to mimic the original mask, and it just does not work at all. So with Halloween 5, they're like, let's just do our own mold. And I think I'm pretty sure that they used Rick Rosenthal's. Is it Rick Rosenthal? I think it's Rick Rosenthal's like face to make the molds. I could be wrong, but I think that the director of this film had a good idea. Like he had good ideas, but the execution necessarily doesn't fit Halloween. I think that he really did have some interesting things. A lot of people also do hate Tina. I like Tina. I say that Tina reminds me of a few friends that I've had in the past. And because I know people that are like that. Like, I've known people that are definitely just like Tina. Even though I do also have my gripes with Tina, I think she's okay for what she is. I would love to talk about this film more in depth in the future. I do intend to have a full on discussion and give my thoughts, critique that is both praising as well as questioning and scrutinizing of the film. So, love Halloween 5. Now, getting into some films that a lot of this stuff. So, these are must watches for me, no doubt. Super must watches. Alfred Hitchcock collection. The main films I watch from this, I watch these with my family mostly, but I'm going to include films that I do watch with my family for Halloween, and that's of course Psycho and The Birds. Those are the two must watches from this collection for the Halloween season for me. Great collection, by the way. I really Alfred Hitchcock is absolutely amazing, so have to include him. And since we're talking about Psycho, another must watch for me, honestly, Psycho 2. To me, when it comes to Psycho 2, I think it's one of the greatest sequels ever made. The original film had zero intention of ever having a sequel, and the way they pulled this off, masterful, truly masterful. It's just so interesting to watch because the creators behind Psycho 2 really wanted to respect Alfred Hitchcock, and they do that so masterfully while also doing their own thing. This is very much Psycho, but it's like it's gonna keep you on your toes. That's what's so amazing about it. It manages to really feel like Psycho while also being new and fresh, and you don't know what to expect as the viewer. I really think that this is some of Anthony Perkins' best work. I really love Meg Tilly. Out of the two Tillys, Meg is personally my favorite because of this film specifically. And it's also amazing that they did bring back Vera Miles from the original film. You have not watched Psycho 2, this is one of the greatest sequels ever made. This is like, for me personally, though Psycho is a masterpiece, I prefer watching Psycho 2 because it's a little bit, it's like more fun. It's not better, but it's more fun. But to me, it's just as good for what it needs to do. It's so unique in its own right. And I think, like, for me, this is like in the horror space, this is like the Godfather 2 to the Godfather, or from, like, if you compared it to action films, this is Terminator 2 to Terminator. Like, that's how high I hold this film. So if you haven't checked this out, please check it out for the Halloween season. Then the next film, I also watched this one with my family, Night of the Living Dead. Classic. It's amazing. Really, really fun film to watch, even though it's super old. It just has an interesting, it's just so interesting watching this film. And the remake is also really fucking good. So if you want to see the 1990s remake, I don't have a copy of it. I need to get a copy of it. I do like catching that when I can as well. Absolutely adore this film. Great cast. George A. Romero is so, like, so important to film. I appreciate that he was able, he is such this such a unique way. Oh my god, I can't talk today, of being campy while also talking about serious political concepts. Like, how can you do that? Like, he's so unique in that space of being able to do both well. So I really appreciate George A. Romero so much. I really love the original Dead trilogy. This starts it off, and shit, when it comes to the Dead trilogy, I gotta watch all three of them. So here's the OG Dawn of the Dead. This is one of my mother's favorite movies. Turns out to be one of mine as well. Super fucking campy while also being serious, while also it talks about some serious shit. And one of the most unique lines, man. When there's no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth. The way that the line is delivered in the film is so great. Overall, um, George A. Romero wanted to, in ways, improve upon Night of the Living Dead. And both Night of the Living Dead and Dawn of the Dead were done on absolute shoestring budgets. Dude was able to put together some amazing work on some very limited money. So this is a really grand film, very, very important to filmmaking. And it's a great watch, even to this day, especially if you don't mind a little bit of campiness. But another thing I love about, you know what, let's get into just Day of the Dead, man. I love Day of the Dead. This one took me a while to watch. I actually watched this like a couple years ago. I love this film. I didn't think I was gonna love it nearly as much as I do. I thought it was gonna be bad, like some of George A. Romero's later films that really aren't that good. But Day of the Dead is absolutely amazing. Doesn't have that many zombies, but just has so much to talk about in its own right. From authoritarianism to women in certain extreme spaces. Um, George A. Romero wasn't afraid to have some serious conversations and that are respectable. Whereas now today, people make social, political, nonsensical films that are for nobody and really say nothing besides there. It's basically, a lot of these films to their creators are just badges of honor on their chest of the stupid ass political fucking takes that they have. That's really all it is. Whereas these films, this trilogy, really sparks great conversation overall and thoughtfulness. George A. Romero was amazing at that, and I really adore the trilogy. Seriously. Another film that I end up watching with my family is The Exorcist. This is, I remember being absolutely horrified by this film as a kid. Now it's kind of a little bit goofy. I mean, there's some serious shit in this film that freaks you the fuck out, admittedly so, no doubt. I used to be scared of the fact that Reagan was possessed, but now the creepy thing that kind of makes, like, kind of gives me the chills is the father's relationship with his mother and what happens. That kind of freaks me out. I don't know why. This is the extended director's cut, which is pretty cool. A lot of crazy shit happened in the making of this film, man. It's unavoidable, but it's so interesting, not just the film itself, but the making of the film. So I really appreciate that overall. Really great movie. Still can definitely creep you out in some ways. It's just the film making, the how to explain. It's like the atmosphere that really fucking gets you with this movie. It really, really does. It's not the music, because music, it's more so like just it's a lot of imagery that gets you. It's a lot of sounds that get you, not necessarily music. And it's just the atmosphere. Really great execution. Films aspire to fuck with the audience as much as this one did when it came out, and none of them come close in my opinion. So what's left is mostly films that I really just love watching on my own time. No, technically this one also I'll watch with my family. Not too many people know about this. It's called Burnt Offerings. It has Karen Black, and it actually has a really, really pretty fucking amazing cast. You got Burgess Meredith, um, Lee Montgomery, Betty Davis. Like there is a good cast here. Definitely a solid cast. I think Karen Black was. I love her in horror films because she has that look, that intense look about her that's just made for horror. So this, I know a lot of people talk about Amityville Horror, House Haunted films, but this one's one that doesn't get talked about nearly as much and is really just as good in its own right. So if you're into those like sort of Amityville Horror, I think this is also another good one to check out. I know that a lot of people have watched this film, so all the more reason to check it out this holiday yes, holiday season, Halloween season. If you haven't, spooky possessed house sort of flick. Karen Black is amazing. Great cast overall. Very, very interesting film in its own right. So yeah, guys. Now we have mostly films that I like to watch for the season on my own time, mostly. So Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This film's fucking insane. It's hard to even describe it, man. It's just off the fucking walls. When I first watched this movie, it's like like where's the limit? Like that's what you think. Like when is it gonna fucking stop? Like it's really crazy, really good characters, really, really great atmosphere. It's fucking genuinely creepy. It doesn't really use much blood. The way they go about being creepy is a lot of great imagery, man. Honestly, it's the eye for this film is very impressive. Really love watching it. I'm really excited for the video game that's coming out next year. I can't wait. So Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the OG, love the film. Really, really, really interesting watch. This one's more so sort of a thriller. It has like a sort of slasher vibe to it. Dressed to Kill. It has Michael Caine, Angie Dickinson, Nancy Allen. Really, really great film. Brian De Palma. He definitely has some great flicks under his belt. This is such a crazy ass movie. Uh, One of my best friends, Blake, put me onto this one, and I love watching it for the season. It really fits in, even though it's more of a thriller sort of film. It definitely has its slasher moments for sure. Really great filmmaking overall. I damn, I don't even know what to say about it. I just love watching it, man. I really think it's really awesome to see Angie Dickinson's side as well as Nancy Allen. It's one of those films that you could tell is very much inspired by Psycho, no doubt the original Psycho. And a lot of people, to me, I think this is like a Psycho remake, but doing its own thing, you know? Whereas the Psycho remake is just this piece of shit that blatantly copies from the original, almost shot for shot, which is, it adds nothing to the medium. It's absolutely abysmal. Um, they should have just put Psycho in color instead or some shit. That would have been more acceptable to me, even though I wouldn't have liked it, but it would have been more acceptable. This is like a kind of a remake, 80s remake of Psycho. If there's less rules, like because in the 80s, there's definitely early 80s especially, there was less rules involved when it came to filmmaking than in the 50s. So this is like, what if there was no fucking rules when Psycho was being made? And they kind of just went with that, and I really, really love this film for what it is. Another one that I love watching both for the Halloween season as well as Christmas is Black Christmas. This is a very interesting film, particularly because I'm pretty positive that John Carpenter was very much inspired by Black Christmas when making Halloween in some really great ways. He took some really great um ideas from this film when making Halloween that really do pay off. Some of my favorite things, like particularly the intro of this film is in first person, like with Halloween. I really love that. Great touch on both sides. Really great atmosphere. Relatively for the most part, it's pretty much an unknown cast, but they all play their roles like really fucking well. The most notable person in the cast is Margaret Kidder and John Saxon, which is really cool seeing them both. Both have passed away now, sadly, but they do play great parts in this film. Very interesting, man. I enjoy watching Black Christmas. It's one that kind of goes under the radar. So if you haven't checked this out, please do yourself a favor and check it out. It's fucking awesome. Another one I do like watching. I don't know if this is necessarily considered horror, but I think it is definitely one of John Carpenter's absolute best, and that is Christine. I I love Christine. Great soundtrack. The car is beautiful, gorgeous. It's a shame. Pretty sure they had to smash up quite a few of them, sadly, but nonetheless, Christine is amazing. Keith Gordon plays an amazing role in this film. Watching him progressively go from this character to a totally different person, fucking masterful. Dude is a great actor in his own right. Doesn't really do much now that I've seen, but he was also in Dress to Kill, and in both of them, absolutely great showing of skill on his part. Watching the scene where the car repairs itself, some great effects, man. I think it from what I know, I think that the film was technically shot in reverse. Like it was put in reverse with how the car reconstructs itself. Fucking amazing. John Carpenter is master of fucking everything. I'm sorry. I'm a John Carpenter fangirl. There's no doubt about it. There's nothing you could say that's gonna make me hate on this dude. Even though he does have his little ways about him, but when it comes down to it, dude had amazing ideas, had an amazing eye for film. Shows here in Christine. It's so hard for me to pick my favorite Carpenter film that is not Halloween. If you're like, take Halloween out of the equation, what's your favorite Carpenter film? I'm fighting. I'll show you right now. We're fighting. Yeah, The Thing. This film scared the fuck out of me as a kid. Couldn't really watch it. Now as an adult, fucking amazing. 4K Blu-ray is amazing. 4K for Christine, by the way, is solid as well, so definitely worth it. But definitely The Thing in 4K still is horrifying. The 4K does not ruin the film in any way, shape, or form. Just watching the breakdown of this group of people freaking out about the situation, losing trust in each other, that's even bigger than the monster aspect itself. But the effects of this monster film, absolutely fucking masterful. The people that did the effects, big shout out to them. Fucking awesome. Carpenter, as always, doing his thing. It is amazing that this film exists, honestly. Sometimes some things are so big in the grand scheme of things, you wonder how it even came to be. And Kurt Russell played a great role in this, as he does in a lot of Carpenter related films. Really awesome. And this one's a double feature. It's rare when I actually do have these. I do need to grab The Fog on 4K Blu-ray. I think The Howling is now on 4K Blu-ray as well. I'm behind in my 4K collecting, guys. But Scream Queen double feature, The Fog and The Howling. The Fog is definitely up there with my favorite Carpenter films. Like, I to choose between Christine and The Fog is fucking hard. It is super hard because when I watch them, I'm in love with both of them. I really, honestly, I really am. The Fog has an amazing cast from Adrienne Barberu, I believe her name is called. I've never been able to properly pronounce her name. Great fucking actress. I love her hair in this movie. Like, she has beautiful, gorgeous hair. So big shout out to Adrienne Barberu's hair. Jamie Lee Curtis is in it, as well as her mother Janet Lee. Uh, awesome film. Deborah Hill, John Carpenter production. They were fucking gold back in the day, man. They really fucking were. A huge shout out to Deborah Hill. Absolutely love her. And yeah, like if you haven't checked out The Fog, please do yourself a favor. Very, very fucking interesting. I forget what's his name. That's literally the main character. Forget his name. Sorry about that. But he was also in Halloween 3. Good actor, no doubt. The Howling, I don't remember anybody's name in this movie. But great special effects, really fun movie if you're into like werewolf stuff. I really enjoy watching this. I know a lot of people really, really love what is it? American I have it over- American Werewolf in London. Personally, I'm not a big fan because it's more on the comedic side. I'm less into like horror comedy. It's really rare when it one gets me. It's a good film for what it is, no doubt, but I prefer watching The Howling. That's my go-to. Now, a film that isn't necessarily it's not horror by any means. It's a comic book film, but it does take place on Halloween, the setting in the film. That is The Crow. Always a must watch. Brandon Lee was so amazing this movie. Rest in peace. Dude died too fucking young, man. Way too fucking young. It's kind of creepy that I'm now pretty sure now I'm older than Brandon Lee. So another one of my favorites that I have outgrown. Creepy, but we love Brandon Lee, freaking amazing actor, had so much to give. Sad that the accident for The Crow happened. The Crow's creation, man, is filled with a lot of sorrow behind it. And but that gives it a lot of heart too. And this film is amazing from the style, the look of it, very gritty. Brandon Lee's look about him as well as his acting is amazing. This is like one of the first, I guess, R-rated comic book movies. It has to be up there. A very short film at 101 minutes, man, but so much fun, so much packed in. That's what a good director does. Makes a great film in a short period of time. No wasted time. That's what I appreciate. So while I say it's not horror, it is takes place on Halloween, so I gotta throw that on. I don't need much an excuse to throw this film on. Uh, very, very fun. And another one, absolutely creepy as shit. One of the first videos that I made was talking about the original Alien. Fucking amazing. I love Sigourney Weaver in this. While Sigourney Weaver kind of comes off like a bitch, very much justified. That's why Ellen Ripley will always be a better character than all these fucking new um feminist pushed fucking characters that are absolute dog shit. Um, while Ellen Ripley's tough, she's very much justified. It's not about feminism; it's about the right thing to do. That's what makes her character so good in this film. The alien was absolutely scary as fuck. Like I said, one of the first videos I did was talking about this film, so I'm not going to get too much into it, but super super fun to watch. Uh, then we got Candyman. Really interesting, like urban centric film. I really love watching it. I haven't watched the new one. I heard it's really bad, so I have no interest. I'm just gonna continue going to the greatest fucking one of the bunch that they did. And I really like the premise. Candyman himself is very much creepy, really unique horror film, man. The setting itself is pretty unique. It's very hard to pull something like this off. So the fact that they did such a good job with it, um, the villain is very much relatable. You can understand where he's coming from. Uh, even though you do get behind the heroine and such, like it's very interesting lore. Um, I do enjoy watching this film for sure. Fucking awesome. Wish they've made movies like this now. Unfortunately, they don't. They just take the name of it and plaster it on. So it is what it is, right? Another film that very weird. Cat people. I Very erotic thriller, not necessarily horror, but there's some nasty scenes in this movie in terms of like crazy shit that happens. Like you're into like bloody crazy shit. Definitely cat people's cool for that. Um I definitely it's been a while since I watched this one actually. Definitely excited to check this one out again. Very fun, interesting cast. Very fucking interesting cast. Get his name. The guy from Home Alone is in it. He's like the main character's love interest, which is it's kind of weird because like I'll never not see him as the dad from Home Alone, but still really awesome. If you haven't checked this one out, it's cool if you're into like thrillers that have like this erotic thing going on with it. Very weird, very cool. And the last, the last two I should say from um these are Italian giallo films. So we have Deep Red and I like to. This is from Dario Argento, and I no disrespect to him, but I love calling him like the Italian John Carpenter because he has like while his filmmaking is certainly different in its own right, still is a master of suspense like Carpenter. Really great at what he does. Deep Red is definitely like, one of my favorites from him. Happy to have gotten this collector's edition. 4K Blu-ray, really well done. Arrow Media killed it. Arrow Video, I mean, they definitely killed it with this 4K release. Really crazy ass film. Very gory. If you're into gory stuff, Dario Argento is straight up uh one of the best. And Giallo films, like you may notice that the blood is extra like red, like silly. It's kind of like a staple of the subgenre. So you have to take that into account when it comes to these films. It doesn't bother me because I know it's a part of it. If you can overlook that, really interesting and fun films to watch that are in the space of horror. So yeah, definitely check out Deep Red. Definitely one of Dario Argento's best works. And I'm just gonna cap it off with one of my favorite movies, honestly. That is Suspiria, another Dario Argento movie. This movie's fucking brutal in some instances. Dario Argento gave no fucks, man. Super freaking crazy, man. Kind of gives me the vibe of The Omen. Honestly, I wouldn't mind watching Omen again. I need to get that on Blu-ray or something. Um, I really love watching Omen. It's sad I don't have it on Blu-ray. I think one of my family does though, so that's maybe why I haven't like ran out to go get it. But this gives me like vibes of The Omen in some ways. It's really good. Um, very interesting premise. If you can kind of get over the fact that people have different accents in the movie, some people's voices are dubbed over because This is a very like worldly film. There's different people from different walks of life that have made this film. I believe that it was filmed with them speaking in their native tongue, and the dub of the film. Basically, if they aren't speaking English, then their voice is dubbed. The main actress though is American, so she uh she isn't dubbed, so it doesn't really bother me. It's completely fine for what it is. Really awesome, gory, crazy ass film. Definitely high up there. With shit that I love to watch for sure. One of my favorites, no doubt. So a lot of people haven't really seen Suspiria, and some have though, which is awesome. Really cool. Definitely check this one out if you haven't, especially if you're a gorehound. If you're a gorehound, Dario Argento is definitely a go-to. But yeah, guys, those are like the main films that I love watching. The first two, not so much. It's more so we have the Halloween Ends sequel coming up. So I had to throw that in because that's genuinely what I'll be watching. So yeah, guys, let me know what are your must watches for the season of Halloween. Happy Halloween to you guys. I'm gonna try to get some more Halloween related stuff out here. We'll see what happens. I'm very spontaneous creator, so please be patient with me. I don't want to do something unless I genuinely want to do it. I hope you guys can appreciate that personally. That's how I like my creators to the people that I watch, the people that I love to watch. That's how I would love that. I love for them to be. So, I like to make the content that I like to watch. So that's just me personally. But yeah, guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you can, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, follow me over on Twitch or Twitter if you want to continue the conversation. And guys, with all that being said, I'm out. Peace.